Hello, everybody, and welcome to Claude and the Banstas for this football finance show. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone's good and safe. Welcome, everyone, in the comments. We've got some great guests tonight. We've got Claude himself. How you doing, Claude? Hope you're holding up well.
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Hope everyone's well. And it's great to have a great panel again tonight, mate. What a great panel.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. We've got the big man himself, my fellow Bansta, Diesel. How you doing, mate?
Oh, me, sorry. I think Kenny's got more muscle than me, mate. Mine's slightly more relaxed. But yeah, all good, Till. Pleasure to obviously be on again with Kenny Ken, someone I watch every week, legend. And hello to all the guys in the chat. Hope you're all well.
And obviously, we've got the big man himself. He's give up his free time again. So I'd like to say thank you from Claude and the Bansters. It's the man himself, Kenny Ken. How you doing, mate?
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. I think it's a very important time for just not just for football, but in life. But one of the themes of the show and what I'm trying to sort of hopefully get through is that at the moment, everyone in football is thinking about today and yesterday, which is the current situation, but they're not thinking about tomorrow. And this is a very serious thing about football, which we're going to sort of discuss, because there is a reason why I believe that a lot of clubs at the moment are only resisting the furloughing initiative from the government only because of public opinion. But for financial reasons, they may have to explore that. And the reason why I'm going to go into, because I've got some facts and figures about the future implications for the game due to coronavirus. And if you want me to, if I just start right now.
Ken, before you start, so we've got a super chat, mate, from Daniel, the blind Gooner. I hope you're good, Daniel. Everyone, please go and follow him. He's a fantastic bloke. He's put evening, guys. Hope you're all doing well.
All right, Danny.
Cheers, Daniel.
Daniel.
All right.
Sorry, Diesel. Go on. Off you go, mate.
I mean Ken or Diesel.
Sorry, Kenny. Sorry, mate.
Right.
We're like twins, Kenny, aren't we? We're twins.
Yeah, totally. Right. If we look at the situation, we go for the top 6 clubs. In terms of so far, because of this coronavirus, Man United have lost £160 million, £0.4. Man City have lost £109 million, £0.3. Liverpool have lost £102 million, £0.6. Chelsea have lost £93 million, Spurs £83 million, Arsenal £74.8 million. Now, also, there's a credit crunch that is going to affect the game, where football clubs at the moment owe £1.6 billion in transfer fees. And what I mean by that is that when you buy a player, you're paying this for these players in instalments. We've got a player right now called Nicolas Pepe, who we've paid £72 million for, but we're paying it over 5 years. At the moment, because of no money to the club, we owe Lille quite a few millions. If we look at the situation in football itself, a lot of football clubs are in debt and they owe millions of pounds in loans, fixed loans to the bank. Now, because no football money's coming in, they are in breach of these loans, which means because football rely heavily on TV revenue, of which makes 88% of their revenues. This is what's going to hit the game in the next few months if this crisis doesn't end soon enough. And that's why I believe that a lot of clubs are resisting the furloughing initiative by the government only for PR reasons. But you may find that there's a lot of these clubs may need to explore that. When you look at Spurs and Liverpool, the reason why I think Spurs and Liverpool have done that, remember Spurs have just built a new ground, so they owe money to the banks in terms of loans. Now, no money. Now, if you look at what I've just said, they're losing £83 million. That is no money coming in, and that includes TV money, matchday revenue, and merchandise and sponsorship. And the same with Liverpool. Remember, Liverpool extended Anfield in 2016, the same sort of thing. So I think in terms of what football are doing at this stage, I don't think the game can carry on like this. People may see this as a good thing because I think football have been unrealistic in terms of their prices, in terms of what they charge yourself and what they charge TV, and the way they're spending money and the way they're not getting the house in order in terms of loans to the banks. But that is the estimated loss in terms of football. And that's why I think that's how I'm going to start in terms of my point.
Can I put a counter argument on behalf of, because a lot of people are going on about, oh well, the players, because of the health service and all this going on at the moment. But don't people have to realise this, that if you cut the players' wages, right, surely then the tax on those players, which goes to the National Health Service, would be cut as well, wouldn't it? So
100%, Claude.
This is where I can't understand where people are coming from. Where we can't help this, we can't help that. If the players took a pay cut, no, it would damage, because the taxation that
That's
goes
right.
towards the health service would be how would you say? So let's say, for example, Ozil takes half his wages off, right? So that's 150 grand a week, yeah, off it. Now 75. So half of that, let's say about £75,000 in tax, right? It's not from the tax man, which helps the health service. So do you realise that? So you're going 300 grand a month lost to the tax man, which 100%. Is helping the health. So where do people don't realise that?
Kenny, just before you answer that, sorry, we've got a great contribution here from Chadwick. Thank you very much, Chadwick. He's put, Claude, go order for a pickup or delivery from your favourite restaurant, mate, on me for tomorrow. Also, I hope everyone in the panel is keeping safe, and hopefully people in London are staying home. Thank you very much,
Chadwick. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chadwick. Nice, Chad.
That's my meal sorted out for the next 4 days. Thank you very much.
No. On you tonight, Claude, the dinner.
That's really nice of Chadwick, and I really appreciate that. Chadwick has a lot of good points. I'd like to get him on the show one day, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm trying. Do you understand where I'm coming from here? Because I don't think
100%, mate.
Understand that the tax.
100%.
These players' wages, if you cut their wages, you're losing a hell of a lot of money in tax, millions in tax. That's not helping the health service, is it, or anyone else?
No, not at all. And I think what football are doing is they've got an initiative where players from other clubs are raising money for charity in order to help their assets. So the players are doing their bit. But what I'm trying to say is, you've got an excellent point there, is that you look at a lot of the players. All right, obviously, some of the way they get paid, some they get paid through bonuses. They put their money into offshore bank accounts in order to run themselves as limited companies. But if a player cuts his wages by 30%, we're talking about nearly £250 million lost taxation for like I said, national services, like the National Health Services. So even though people are well-meaning in what they're saying, what they don't understand is that it's actually hurting the economy and hurting the Treasury. And that's why the Treasury are offering a situation for them to furlough their staff, especially the non-operational staff, especially staff at Arsenal who work in the Arsenal shop, staff who do match day, like I said, match day, like the experience. Remember, we have stadium tours as well. That's not happening now. That is lost revenue. So you can understand why Arsenal, although they're not doing it for PR reasons, you can understand why they may have to consider it. And I think that's what people don't realise in football as well. People just think that football's a wash of money. Yeah, it's a wash of money, but it's not a wash with liquid assets. It's only a wash with, like I said, collateral assets, i.e., the flats around the Arsenal, footballers who like cows and players. But in terms of liquid assets, there isn't much liquid assets there, because what comes into football gets spent on players' wages. You know what I mean? And that is the first consideration, and then operational costs, and then you'll pay your non-playing staff. And I think that's what people need to realise, is that you're very well-meaning. And let's not talk about football. What Formula One? That makes more money than football. They're furloughing all their staff as well. So come on, let's just be sensible about this and see the bigger picture.
Yes, what I'm saying, that is the bigger picture, because at the end of the day, if you're talking about money to going towards in most important places, if you rather cut the people with less tax than cut the people that can create more money for the welfare. But I mean, it's hard because these people are, and look, they're out of work, and it's very hard. It's very hard for everyone. But that's the nature of the game, I'm afraid. If you, no one expected this thing to happen. It's a horrible thing that's happened. Hopefully,
another thing as well, Claude. You've got one thing as well. Another thing is what football's got to pay for as well. It's insurance as well. A lot of these clubs are not assured for coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly. Insurance. Yeah,
bigger
exactly.
businesses
It's another
football,
thing. Yeah,
not
exactly.
insured
So it's not as simple. Everyone going on about players, the greedy players. Why don't the greedy players play? But it's not as simple as that. Because if the players started losing them, cutting the wages, then where's the taxation going?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you guys. My only problem with this is that I just think it's come too late from the players. You know, it's really. I mean, how long this situation been going on for now? Do you know what I mean? You know,
yeah, but
sorry, Claude.
The only way the players can contribute is if they give an amount out, but they can't. You can't be. You cut people. You don't understand them. Literally, you cut someone's wages, right? It's not like cutting 300 our wages, 300 grand. As like Mesut Ozil, you're cutting the tax man off as well. And the tax, believe it or not, that is paid of Mesut Ozil's wages is helping the economy.
Yeah.
And I think another thing as well is the implications as well. It's like you got to understand another thing as well. When we do come back and football gets back to some sort of semblance of normality, you're going to have a situation where they're going to have their TV money, they might have the sponsorship, but they're going to lose out a match because I'm assuming, if there's any kind of common sense, they're going to be playing behind them closed doors. So again, in terms of that is a massive loss of revenue for clubs like the Arsenal and the Tottenham, clubs that have about 50,000 fans or more. That's a massive implication where long term the game can't sustain it. It's not sustainable for them to have these sort of losses, especially during a crisis like that.
So what are you actually saying, Ken? Are you actually saying that you agree with them putting their staff on furlough?
No, what I'm not saying is that I understand if they were to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because what I'm trying to say is that we're closed for business. There's no money coming in. Nothing's coming in.
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying that there's no money coming in. But what about all the season ticket holders' money that are paid to go for the year?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You've got to realise with that Arsenal, yes, we do have season tickets, and that is money that's paid over. But you've got to realise now, remember, Arsenal are paying off. They've still got like their mortgage for the Emirates, which they still got to pay off. Yeah. Remember, they still owe transfer money for players like Nicolas Pepe and the players at bench. So remember, clubs that Arsenal play transfer money in instalments. They still haven't got that TV money because there's a few games that have been like that when they were live with Sky and BT involving Arsenal. They're not getting that money now because of what's happening with coronavirus. They're also not getting the guaranteed money they're getting from places like Star Sports in South Africa, Fox Sports Australia, all around the world. That TV money's not coming. Yeah, there's no games coming in. I'm not advocating it, but what I'm trying to say is that this may have to happen. And all I'm trying to say is that the fans need to be patient and try and back the clubs because they need to. A lot of fans just think we just come there to the ground, and then we have our points. Some of you will have your meat pies, have a discussion in the pub, and go home, and that's it. It's taken for granted. What I don't understand is the money around football. Basically, what I'm trying to say for English football has been wasting money for a long, long time, and now the chickens have come to roost. And unfortunately, the government is going to have to back them out. I think that maybe in a year's time, you're going to find a lot of clubs in the Premiership, with the exception of some of the big six sides, going in administration. Seriously.
Just before I ask a question to you and come back at you with Kenny, we've got a super chat from Chadwick again. Thank you very much, mate. Kenny, why did Arsenal not win the title in 2015?
I think we didn't win it in 2015 because I think Chelsea just went on that run with Mourinho, and they were just too strong for us. And we were just inconsistent in games where we should have put the teams away. We should be consistent. In 2016 as well, Leicester were just too consistent for us. They kept on winning. They weren't dropping points in the running, and it just became difficult for us. We kind of fell away.
And all them assists that Ozil was putting on a plate for Giroud, and Giroud was missing them. That cost us as well. And by the way, everyone is blaming Ozil. Giroud was missing a lot of chances, and he didn't score for 3 months.
Yeah.
Anyway, go into
let me come back with a question for all of you then about this money, right? So obviously, you know, Liverpool at first wanted to put their non-playing staff on furlough. You got Tottenham that put their non-playing staff on furlough. You got Newcastle that's done the same, and a couple of other clubs. So them clubs, right? So Tottenham, Newcastle, and I think there's 3 others. I think there's 5 that's done that. Okay. So should them 5 clubs now be banned in a transfer window for at least the next couple of years? Because why, after putting their non-playing staff on furlough, taking the government's money, come July, if the football season starts again, they should be able to go out and buy a £50 million player?
Well, that's another question, isn't it? I mean, I'll let Diesel answer that. I don't think he's had a say yet. Sorry, Diesel.
Yeah. Go on, Diesel.
Sorry, Diesel.
No, it's all right. My Wi-Fi is really playing up, so you guys keep cutting out all the time.
Did you hear what I said, Diesel?
Yeah, just about, mate. Listen, I get you. My thoughts on this are the furlough thing, right? Is obviously, I know a lot of people who are on it. You know, the government created it for people who really need it. And I'm just, if you look at it, I mean, obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of the club's finances. And the one thing I do know is these clubs are multi-million. You know, they got millions, right? And it's the speed at which they've suddenly jumped on it. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, there's a little part of me that's thinking the clubs are abusing something that the government put in place for the other side. You know, the people who aren't overloaded, you know, flush with money, people who really need it. And when I see these multi-million pound clubs who are worth millions, not just here, think of abroad, think of all the commercial deals and, you know, the TV revenue and all of that sort of stuff, right? You know, we see clubs paying over the odds now for players. So that tells you if you're paying over, it's like us. If we go shopping, we pay over the odds for something. That shows we've got money.
Yeah.
You know, so when I see these big clubs abusing something that really I don't think they should be using, that doesn't sit right with me, lads. If I'm honest, it doesn't. You know, so. But yeah, you know, in answer to your question, the clubs now who do this. And then in the next transfer market, they're spending millions on players. You know, I'm telling you now that there's going to be a lot of people who will have something to say about that, and they will kick up. Yeah. You know, so yeah, probably.
Okay, Claude, I'm be interested in your opinion and all. What's your opinion of that, mate?
No, that's a different question altogether. I mean, if they can't afford to pay their staff, they can't afford to buy players, can they? So that's another question altogether, isn't it?
So should they be banned for at least a year or 2 years of buying players then?
Well, yeah, but will it be enforced? It's another thing. Well, that won't be enforced, will it?
Yeah.
I mean, morally, no, they shouldn't be allowed. But it ain't going to happen, is it? I mean, I don't even think Man City will. Man City are in the middle of a FIFA. Is it a ban that's supposed to be? They're repeating a ban at the moment. I don't know what's happening now, but. Yeah. Listen, I agree. I understand that. If you can't pay staff, how comes you can buy your players? But I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. On Diesel's point about multi-millions, the only reason the multi-millions there, Diesel, though, is because the football is happening and TV's happening and everything. But once that all goes down, those multi-millions soon disappear, mate. It's there on paper, but it's not there.
Yeah.
It's there on paper, but whether they've got it is another thing. It's all on loans and everything else. On assumptions that the season goes ahead and things like that, and that games are covered. At the moment, nothing's happening. So that money is not really there. It's only there if the games are getting played.
Just before I ask you, Kenny, and you come back to that, we've got a super chat from Zane. He's put Claude Boris is out of his sense of care. Well,
Yes, good news. Good news. Great news.
Great,
brilliant.
news.
Great news.
The only thing is, I wonder whether I know he went in intensive, whether it was as serious as they're saying it, but hopefully, I'm glad he's all okay. Yeah, he's a fighter, isn't he? He's a fighter. That's Boris for you. He's a big fighter, and good luck. Well done, Boris, and hopefully, we might not agree with his politics. A lot of people might not agree with his politics. I know one particular guy doesn't.
Are you talking about me? It's always Kenny.
As far as I'm concerned, I'd rather have 600 sheep in the House of Commons than that lot. Anyway, but that's how I look at politicians. But yeah, good luck, and I hope he's well. As a human being, good to see that he's well.
No, I totally agree. Just before I come to you, Kenny, with your points, Stan the Man has put Tottenham should be fined by the government for ignoring self-isolation rules, and the FA should take the matter seriously and deduct points. We'll come back to that one, Stan. I just want to finish off what we're talking about here first. Kenny, what was your fault? What was your faults?
Well, the thing about it is that Claude's got a good point, and I understand 100% where Diesel's coming from, but from the figures I'm looking at and from what I've been studying the game as well, and to the football finances, everything is on a promise. That if you look at how football are, they'll get a TV deal with Sky or BT, and we're just talking about in this country, and they'll say, right, this is what you're going to get over 3 years. So what football do? They say, well, that's our budget on spending on players as players' wages for the last 3 years. They haven't got the money yet, but that's their budget. So what they do is they spend their budget, on a yearly basis when the money isn't there, because they think they are going to get this money, and 9 out of 10 times they're getting this money because there's a guarantee there's going to be matches. There's a guarantee they're going to do a tour of a Premier League tour of Asia or the North America. So they know the money's coming in.
Yeah,
they know that because they've got matches that no sponsors are going to be involved, and they know because like I said, there wasn't such thing as coronavirus. People like ourselves were going to go and buy merchandise, so that's why they were able to guarantee this. But the money actually wasn't there. There was no liquid assets. But at this time and stage right now, there isn't anything coming in. There isn't no liquid assets. So they are well within their rights to like I said, appeal to the government, because look at all the other stores. So, Sir Philip Green, he's a billionaire, isn't he? But in his stores, money's coming in. No one's on paper, but no one's spending any money in any of his stores. So there's going to be an implication in him, because at the end of the day, he didn't create coronavirus. This is an illness and a pandemic, but it's affecting his business. Virgin with Sir Richard Branson, the same sort of thing. They are well within their rights to take advantage of this. Even though people may think they shouldn't be doing it morally, but if you're running a business, which means, I don't know what you guys do living, but some of you might be running a business. If no money is coming in, you don't want to live off your profits. No, I'm a lefty, mate, but I'm not an idiot.
Yeah,
I know that a lot of these profits are only profits in name. I know some of that profit goes towards paying off bank loans and transfer fees, which you owe other clubs. I know football itself is basically on I pay you when I can basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know a lot of agents who are sending who at the moment are sending football clubs invoices as we speak, because these clubs owe money for work they've done. They haven't paid them yet. They are going to get paid.
Yeah,
you can't pay them with shirt buttons.
As you say, Kenny, a lot of this is on the never never. A lot of this on this money at the moment. Excuse my term. It's on the never never, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's not.
You know the biggest elephant in the room as well, guys. The biggest elephant in the room is, Terry, you touched on it. I think Diesel touched on it as well. I think Claude, you touched on it as well. all of you guys have mentioned about the fact that season ticket holders and memberships have been bought in advance.
Yeah.
Well, hang on here. A lot of us have paid for a service that we're not getting.
Yeah.
So hang on here. Or even though we're bottom of the queue, how are we going to get locked after? Because at the end of the day, we want our money back, don't we? Because you're not showing us a service. You could try and get. It's no good you saying, "Oh yeah, we can give you like I said, a link. You can watch it online." Well, hang on here. The Premier League are going to show all these games live. So can I have my money back, please? And then when next season, when this still happens, and you've got locked doors, and they're trying to sell season tickets to us, we're not going to be paying $1,000 on matches we're not going to watch. So we're creditors now, aren't we? The odd football fan is a creditor. You know what I'm trying to say? So you can understand. Everyone's owed. Football owes so many people money.
Exactly.
They have to consider the fact that they have that this thing that the government offered to all businesses and industries. Football can't be football. You can't just think that football's this thing we put in the. This is like something out of like life on Mars. They're part of the real life. They eat and sleep like us. They run businesses like us, and they have financial situations like us. So, of course, the government will help all wealth creators, which football is. What football is.
All right, I'll come back to that in a minute. But Zane's put another super chat in. Thanks for your contribution. He put, Kenny, do you think in the future they will put in future contracts that players have their salaries reduced temporarily if the virus returns?
I think what's happening is that every from now on, the only winners now are going to be insurance companies. The insurance companies, because what will happen is that every player will have to be insured because of this. Every football club will have to be insured. Every business, banks,
they're all insured anyway.
Not for this, they're not. Not for this.
No.
They're not sure for this.
For certain
no, they're not insured for this. No, Claude. No one is insured for this, so they're going to have to get insurance for this. You know what I mean? You have what Zane's asking as well about future contracts. If you try to cut a player's wage, because a lot of them are resisting this now, they're saying, "No way, I'm not doing that."
Wait, Kenny,
you try.
The only point is how are you going to get insurance for it when this is the first time it's ever happened in the world, basically? Do you know what I mean? So
you have to be insured for it.
How much money do you have to pay an insurance to cover
a lot?
But
it's a big business. It's big business, though. You have to be insured for this because at the end of the day, you look at the implications of this. No money is coming in. People are losing money. People are losing jobs on a temporary basis, even on a permanent basis. So people have to be insured for that loss of income. So you have to do this now because coronavirus, right? We don't know if this is a one-off or whether it's going to come back. Yeah. But next time, if it does happen, we have to be prepared for it. All businesses all assets have to be prepared for this in the future. It's a no-win situation. It's not even negotiable.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you think, whether you think an insurance person is sly. Doesn't matter. You're going to need them a lot now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. That is true. I think there'll be a lot of there will be a lot of changes to contracts now. I mean, I've heard obviously certain agents speak on certain podcasts or whatever, and they basically, alluded to the fact that there's so many clauses in these contracts that would shock you. Things like you're like, what? He put that in there, and this corona thing is no different because let's be honest, lads, for all we know, in 2 months' time, it's fine. It's summer's here, the sun's shining, the death toll was obviously, halted or whatever. Things go back to normal. It just takes out one person, didn't it? It's the unknown. We don't know. For all we know, it could, start up again. And I think these clubs, they're not silly. They're going to have their advisors, their lawyers, solicitors, whoever it is, basically saying, listen, from now on, you make sure you put that in that contract. That if so, should anything like this happen again, a pandemic of sorts of anything, then we are covered.
Yeah.
Simple. Because I know I would. If it was, you would, wouldn't you? You would. You'd have to, So...
We've got another super chat here from Zane. He thought, wouldn't it be funny if Spurs went bankrupt, Stan Kroenke bought them, and we used their stadium as their new training ground? Zane, it would be funny if they went bankrupt, but I wouldn't want to use their ground because it's shit I wouldn't piss on it if it was on fire.
Not only that, we'd miss the rivalry. I wouldn't want them to go bankrupt because we'd miss the rivalry. It wouldn't be the same, would it? Football wouldn't be the same if we didn't have
I know you mean, Claude, yeah.
I can live with that. I can live without them rubbing it in their faces about being a Champions
No,
League.
but you'd miss it. Wouldn't you miss the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry, Ken? You'd miss it.
Well, actually, miss it. Well, one thing I do miss it, the fact that we had bragging rights over them, that we were finishing top of them, and all we got now is memories, and the fact that the only thing we're holding on to the fact is they haven't won a trophy for 12 years. That's all I've got to hold on to at the moment.
Let's quickly get onto that question and what a lot of people are talking about in the comments, and that is obviously the recent videos of Jose Mourinho in a park with 3 or 4 Tottenham players, basically doing a training session, not keeping social distancing, like the government rules state. Obviously, high-profile people that should be doing what the government says, and obviously getting on. They're doing videos on YouTube and Twitter. A lot of players and telling us, to stay at home, don't go out. And then the next minute they're going to parties and having a rave up or doing training sessions. So, what's your views on that, Kenny?
In terms of what's happened with Jose Mourinho, I believe he was doing it with a guy called Ndombele. I can only assume that it was only assume the right reason why Jose's doing it. He's been very critical of Ndombele, and I think he wants to sort of do one-to-one training with him in order to sort of get him back and sort of give him an inkling of how he wants him to play for Spurs. So he's well intentioned, but if you're a high-profile, like I said, football person like Jose is, you're in Hadley, you're in Barnet, which is not too far for where the family home is, where I am at the moment. One thing I would say is that you're risking it. You left yourself open there. You know what I mean? You've given players individual training, like I said, apps and training programs. Stay at home. I'm not saying go around Ndombele's thing, but there's loads of ways you can communicate with Ndombele, but rather than going in on the park. Well intentioned, but it was very silly to do that. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter whether Ndombele can't take instructions over the phone. Doesn't matter. That's not your problem. We are all being asked by the central government to social distance for a reason. We've all been asked to all the way we live. You know what I mean? I mean, some of us are spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on shopping that we wouldn't be seen dead with, but we're buying what's available because we've had to adjust. You know what I mean? Some people have to work from home every day. Some people are not used to it. Everyone's got to make the adjustment, and football shouldn't be exempt for it. In terms of people like Grealish and the other ones. You know what I say about footballers, right? It's a good thing they can play football because they ain't got much brain power. You know what I mean?
Just before I ask you that same question, Claude, Zane's put another super chat in. He put, Claude, is it true Kane was in the Arsenal youth? How did we let him go? What was he a late developer?
Yeah, I think he was. He weren't at the time. He wasn't really. And if actually, I'm going to give Arsene Wenger a bit of credit here, actually, which is you're going to be surprised. When he was with us, he probably wasn't developed properly, and also when he went to other clubs in the Championship, he was struggling as well. He's just a freak of nature, really. He's just come good at the right time. I can't blame. I'm not going to blame Arsene for that one.
Okay, and what's your views on the Mourinho meeting in the park with the Tottenham players?
I'm sure these people, because they're footballers, I'm sure they got tested before they went out there anyway.
Yeah, but what if they kept when they was out there?
It's not a good thing because also you attract crowds as well because you've got people there watching as well. That attracts crowds. That could have brought even more people, running over to them as well. It's not a good thing. It's not. But he's admitted he was wrong at the time. He's taken his. What can you do? What can we do? What he's going to get his punishment. They're going to probably fine him. That's all you can do, isn't it? There's nothing more you can do about it.
Yeah. Okay, Diesel.
Right, boys, I'm going to go very different to you because, right, I like Mourinho. You boys know that. I like him, and I wanted him as our boss, right?
What?
So it's no, I did, and I stand by that. However,
hang on, you weren't the only one.
no, exactly. I still think he could do a job here. However, I think he's an absolute disgrace, right? And I'm going to go in on him and the players now because, and it's not because it's Spurs. I'm taking off my Arsenal hat here, right? It's not about that. What it's about, that's when I think of, I'm reading stories and hearing about, you know, we're all indoors, right? We're all indoors, right? We're all having to obey by it. I don't care if these are footballers or millionaires or whoever they are, right? They have a responsibility more so than us guys because we're looked at in the world, you know, we're normal guys. These are idols, right? Rightly or wrongly, they are idols, right? What Mourinho has done, what he's basically saying is, sod what the government say, we're going out and we're doing this. For me, if that was anyone else, listen, guys, we've been on the last previous podcast, and have we, rightly or wrongly, have we had a moan about these parks in London being rammed and people aren't respecting this lockdown, and because the weather's nice, they're out there and they're all taking a piss? Why do we not have the same energy, right, for these players? Because for me, these players, it's the same thing. I don't care who they are. It could be it could be a group of Arsenal players. I would still say the same thing. They're putting themselves at risk. I don't care if they've been tested or not, right? They've been tested. Other people in the park haven't. Right? So all we're being asked to do is stay at home. Right? We're not being asked to, you know, go to war or have a bet. We're being asked to stay at home. Exactly. These players are being asked to stay in their mansions, right? As far as I'm concerned, there is no argument. They're wrong.
The trouble is, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Excuse them, Claude. They're wrong.
Yeah, the trouble is, a lot of people, right, think this thing is a bit. A lot of people, not me myself. I'm not 100% sure. I can't say one word. A lot of people feel that this is going a bit over OTT. There are a lot of people that got that mindset.
Go to the Excel Centre, right?
No.
Go to the Excel Centre and we'll see if it's OTT.
Exactly.
There are people that are saying this, right? But because what I'm trying to say is that they feel that they don't feel it's a mentality thing. It's a mentality thing. Some people don't take it as serious because they know they don't trust. You know what it is? I think people don't trust politicians.
Do you know what it is, Claude?
Let's get this on it. Let's get this in as dry. I agree with you. Myself, I'm worried I won't go out. But there's a lot of people out there, and I'm sorry, and I can understand it. They do not trust politicians, right?
I'll come back to you on that one, Claude.
Right? They don't trust a politician. And you know what? It goes back to Blair when he went out to war when there was nothing there to go to war against. It goes back in history. We don't trust politicians, and I trust
the death rate. Right, when I see ambulances, right, fall to the rafters, right, I know. I trust that. That's what I trust. You know,
I trust that as well. But the problem is Diesel. The problem is Diesel. There are a lot of people out there that have been misled by politicians in the past, right, and they don't trust it. I mean, I had someone today make a comment. How is it that all this thing never come up around Christmas time? All this carry on. This thing has been going on for a long time. It's not just appeared now, this corona. Suddenly it come when we're in Easter? Why hasn't it come before Christmas? Suddenly before Christmas time? That's why it's a good question to ask. It's we've got to think about these things as well. I don't know. I'm me personally, I go safe. I go safe. I want to be safe. But there are a lot of people out there that do not trust politicians, and that is why we got this crap going on in the parks everywhere, because they don't trust what a politician tells you.
Right, just quickly. Sorry, Claude. Just quickly, you got Sane who's put a super chat in. He's put, Claude, is Ty okay? Will we come on anytime soon?
I've not heard from him for weeks. I don't know where he's gone. He's disappeared. He don't answer his phone. I'm a bit worried about him, actually. I've not heard from him for weeks.
Now, well, check. I think with ties, well, like tie match day and anything involving Arsenal, that's the men and women. I think this is very much a part of Ty's life, and that has been taken away. And I think what what like Diesel said is 100% true, and what you said, Tel, as well. I think one of the reasons why people flatten the rules, and I don't think it's because they don't trust the government. It's because I think there's a lot of people like don't. I think they're struggling to cope with the restrictions of which lockdown is. And I know a lot of people saying, "Well, tough shit," and I do respect that. But
can you honestly, all of you in here, can you honestly tell me you trust politicians what they tell you?
No.
Not at all. I think.
This is bigger than that, though, Kenny. This is bigger than that, though, isn't it? It's not about politicians.
Penny, 2 seconds. We've got a super chat. Sorry, mate. And then obviously, I just want to put my point of view across before we carry on.
I get where you boys are coming from. I'm just putting what other people might be thinking.
No,
Penny, don't you think we have to balance the economic long term? It could do more damage, etc.
Well, definitely. I think what's happening is that you've got to remember the £350 billion bailout towards businesses, towards workers, and towards people, like I said, self-employed people. The fact of the matter is that the government have borrowed that money from the Bank of England and borrowed it from their other countries. So what will happen with that money is that that money has to be paid back. So all I can see is increased taxation. Exactly. There's no, you can't even go over it. Also, you may have a situation where the money that the government give to the NHS or to local authorities, which I work for, they may have to lessen their grant and put more emphasis on local authorities to collect more money. Or they may have a situation, look what happened 10 years ago with the credit crunch. You remember what they say in the economy, if America sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold. Look what's happening in America. No business, no one's, it could affect here. We could have a situation where you have austerity. No reason why it shouldn't happen. Everything stops now. We haven't really stopped for 3 weeks. Well, that's 3 weeks too long for this economy. So we're going to have austerity measures. We're definitely going to have a credit crunch. I can tell you that for a fact. Because the reason why you're going to have a credit crunch is because a lot of people, banks have been told, because the government are giving them money, to say, let's just sort of furlough, like people's mortgages and their loans are borrowed. Let's try and help people. When everything goes back to normal, all these little loans that you want to get from John Lewis and all that, you may find that John Lewis is going to want a bit more information. They might not want to give you those loans because they can't afford to, because it's going to be a squeeze. And I think that's what Zane's alluding to. What happened 10 years ago is going to be child's play if this lasts any longer than another month or so. I really can see. I can't see anything. I can't be anything more blunt.
Yeah. I will come back in a minute, but we've got another super chat from Zane. He's put, Claude, we should have done what Germany did. They are handling it well.
Yeah, I know we should have, but we don't have one. But in Germany, they have trust in their politicians. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's my view. It's not my view. Yeah, no, I'm just telling you why people are like that. And I'm telling you why they feel like that. They do not trust politicians. Maybe in Germany, they trust their politicians. I know Kenny don't agree with me on this, but they.
No. It's not so. But you say that though. There's still a lot of people in this country who are all right. We don't have an 100% turnout in elections, but people vote with the people the party that they trust to run the economy better. It looks like in the last 2 elections, people believe that the Conservatives can run this country better in terms of running the economy better, and that's why they won the last few elections, and they actually won by a landslide this election. So there are some semblance of touch. If a politician tells you what you want to hear or agrees with your views, both publicly or privately, you're voting for them. So it's a game. I think politics is one of the biggest games ever. It's all PR, it's all BS, and the public, members of the public who have political convictions, whether you're right wing or left wing or centre, you just pick and choose who you think is going to represent you. We're all part of this game. We encourage politicians to wave the, how do I say it, rattle their jewellery. You know what I mean? Like I said, look at football fans. look at all this nonsense with Usmanov. We thought Usmanov was God because all he did was rattle his jewelry, and all of a sudden, all these, all of us, non-millionaires got a little bit excited. Ooh, let's get him in. He's going to spend thousands of his own money. We didn't know that, but he got us believing that. It's the same with the politicians. They waver the thing, less taxes, reduce taxation on this, reduce VAT, rattling their jewelry. Everyone gets excited.
Yeah, we've got another super chat again from Zane. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it. I will get my point across.
It's been well tonight, lads, haven't we?
Have you been watching Trump's conferences? He's lost the plot. Too much sunbedding has fried his brain.
The thing with Donald Trump is that the reason why he's an American president is because for a simple reason, he said two reasons. One, I am the president of jobs. Now, if you're from somewhere like Rhode Island, Maine,
I'll tell you the reason he's president of America, because he didn't have no opposition.
No, that's not true, Claude. No, not true. Not true. Not Claude.
The last guy they put up against him was a joke, mate. No,
you mean Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton's got a lot of experience. The reason why President Trump is a president of America is because he's a businessman who's running a successful billion-pound industry. And that's why they find, and what they do, because a lot of the presidents, a lot of politicians in this country, we always seem to employ lawyers, someone who knows the law. But what America have done in 2016, they've employed a billionaire businessman, and that's why people will play him. And if you go say, I'm the president of jobs, he's going to get the votes. A lot of people, right, are Trump supporters. Some come out, some hide behind the shadows. But what I'm trying to say right now is that Trump will win the next election. I can guarantee you that, Claude.
Yeah.
I'll bet you your season ticket that he'll win the election.
Right.
So you're going to have to give me a grade.
Can I just come back? Can I just come back? Claude, let me come back on what we were talking about earlier, right? For me,
it's like the Tories. They got it because they had no opposition.
Hey,
would you honestly?
That's true.
All they had was Diane
Abbott
and what do you call it?
Get the popcorn till.
And
I'll just read it in.
Corbyn and Diane Abbott. Come on. Who's going to put them in charge of the country? Come on. Let's be frank. No opposition. And that's what it is. No opposition.
Stop it.
No opposition.
All right.
She can't even add up.
Clap for the nurses. That's what they're doing. Sorry.
You might as well put Russ Abbott in.
Right, let me come back here, right? Let me come back, right? First of all, with Jose Mourinho, right? I don't care who he is, what team they play for, or whatever, right? At the end of the day, if their loved ones were working in the NHS, they would not have been doing what they done that day, right? Because their loved ones would have been in the hospital, saving lives on the front line with people with struggling to breathe, trying to save them, right? So they would not have been out on that green doing what they did. I don't care who they are, even if it was Arteta, who I love, if it was Arsenal, who I love, if it was my team, who I love, I would have said that is totally wrong and we should never have done it, right?
It is wrong. You're not getting me. You're not getting what I'm saying here.
No.
You're not understanding what
I'm not saying
you're not listen, what I'm trying to say to you, Terry, is that, as I said, people do not trust politicians.
No,
and that's
I
simple.
agree with you.
I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you.
But that's how it is.
Like Claude, right? The only thing I come back with you there is that you don't need to listen to a politician to understand what is going on in the world at the moment, right? At the moment, we all need to stay in. If we don't stay in, then all we're doing is prolonging this situation that we're in now. So that is all we're doing.
I know, but people haven't got. People know of what the politicians have told us in the past, and they don't trust them. And when they told us in the past, like the so-called, we had to do this and that with Mr. Blair. Yeah, you remember Mr. Blair said we have to go to war because of this and that. And listen,
Blimey, look at the Zane.
Bloody hell. Come on.
Zane, what is going on,
Zane?
Zane? You're going to
Zane,
get us
thank you
lick
very
offs.
much, man. That is unbelievable contribution. Thank you so much. He's put, guys, keep up the good work. Future beers are on me. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. But no, just getting back to my what I was saying. Like I said, if their wives or their loved ones, their husbands, mum and dad were struggling in hospital, believe you me, they would not have been out on that park. So practice what you preach is what I say. And that,
yeah, I do agree.
And that is obviously, you know, they are very, very high-ranking people, these people, and people look up to these people.
I'm not saying, I'm saying he is wrong, but I'm saying that's why the mentality is there.
Yeah, no,
it's other things though. It's other things as well. You've got to realise that another thing as well. There's a lot of people who psychologically, and physically are lonely. So, like I said, they do rely on a match day at the football. They rely on gyms.
Yeah,
they rely on pubs. And don't get me wrong. And so what happens is that they run for any sort of notification. The people who are going and sunbathing, all right, I understand that you probably live in a flat and you don't have a garden. That's fine. But we're all having to make adjustments to our lives in order to save lives. So don't just think because if you go on Fringy Park, that because it's empty, that you're going to have a sneaky sunbathe and it's going to be all right. It's not all right for you to do that. It's not all right.
I'll tell you what, Kenny, if I went out sunbathing out in Finsbury Park, they'll all certainly all empty then, wouldn't they?
guys, I just want to say, right, do you know what it is, right? In like for me, it's not so much obviously what you were saying, Claude. I'm purely talking about the players in the part. That's purely right on Instagram and on any social media platform. I'm seeing these, whether they be singers, actors, footballers, whatever, in their mansions, right, saying, "Oh, feel sorry for me. I'm so bored. I'm in lockdown. I can't leave." Right. What I think about the families who have got 6, 7 kids who are in a 2-bed flat. I think of that, right? So, like the way I look at it, I have no sympathy for these players or whoever, right? I feel sympathy, right, for those big families who are so, they're very compact in maybe a 1 or 2 bedroom flat, no garden, right? Kids are bouncing off the walls. I've got one, right, and he's going nutty, right? Now, and I've just got one, right? I've been let off lightly. You know what I'm saying? So that I look at it like that, and I don't feel any sympathy from it. And the way I look at it, right, whether I don't listen. I'm not a government man. I don't trust any of them. Right. The one thing I do trust is when I see the amount of fatalities. Right. You know, like the amount of deaths. You know, the reason why they're building the Excel Centre, which is down the road from me. I believe in that. I believe, right, that there are people dying, and all we're being told to do is stay at home, whether that's hard or what. Right. I'm going to do that because whether I believe him or not, or whether I think I'll be all right, I'm young enough. I've got to bring that home. Right, so if I catch it and I bring it to home,
oh my God,
someone in my family, then
I've got to stop you. Sorry, mate. Again, Zane, thank you very much. This is unbelievable, Zane. I can't thank you enough for this.
Tinder dates at the moment.
I can't go out on Tinder dates at the moment, so I spend it here on Super Chats instead. Zane, mate, you are the man. You are the man, mate.
Dane, you're not the only one. I can't go on any dates at the moment because.
Sorry, Diesel. I'm sorry.
That's worth stopping me for, mate.
I mean, that's worth stopping me for. Isn't it? I mean,
watch.
No, seriously.
Watch Dane get abused now in the chat. Listen, Zane, mate, listen. Much appreciated for that, brother. Much appreciated. Nice
listen,
one.
Just before we go to the, obviously, be coming up in 5 minutes to the NHS clap, so I want to do that again on screen. I just want to get my other point across, which you were saying earlier on, Kenny, was that we might go into recession, and obviously it's going to be hard times, right? For me, I don't give 2 shits about money, right? Honestly.
Okay.
Because the reason why I say that is that I'm fed up of watching. Thanks, Diesel.
I had to. Sorry, Tom. Go on.
You put me off now. No, the reason is for me. All these briefings that we keep seeing every day now is a load of shit to me, right? because the thing is, they go on for about 45 minutes. All you hear about for 2 seconds is how many people that's died.
Yeah.
2 seconds, right? That's all. That's everyone that's died. I mean, that's people's families, mums, dads, granddads, nans, kids, children's, right? And that's all we hear about for 2 minutes. All the rest of it is about businesses, getting businesses back on board, getting the curve down. Do you know what I mean? Everyone needs to stay home. Fuck all that shit. I'm sorry. This is just me personally, right? Fuck all that shit. I'd rather, I mean, if this was 9/11, we'd be putting all these people's faces up on screen and saying who's died.
Yeah.
Saying who's died. You know what I mean? To me, life means more. Life means more. I don't care about money. I mean,
Terry,
I agree
with you. I agree with you, Terry. I absolutely agree with you.
Aiming it at you, Claude. He's just saying in general.
I'm telling you the mentality of the people we have now. Because they have no trust in what this government tells you, or any government tells you. They don't trust the politician anymore.
Thank you, Archie.
That's why they're all strolling around out there, without a care in the world, and doing what the fuck they want. Right? That's why they're doing it, because they don't trust it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Yes, people's lives are more important. Yes, 100%.
Yes. That's all I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? I think it should be more about saving lives than money at the moment. Once we get over this, the top of the curve, we get to the peak, we're on the other side. You know what I mean? We're hopefully, going downwards. Then yes, I agree. Let's talk about getting businesses opening. Let's get the money, situation circulating again. Let's getting people back to their lives and jobs and kids back to school. But at the moment, the thing that we should be talking about is saving lives. Saving lives. That's all that should be on the agenda, in my eyes. So, that's just my opinion. I know I'm a bit old school, but I mean, that's just me. I'm sorry, but
I agree with you. At the end of the day, human life is the most important thing there is. There's no doubt about it. But what I'm trying to say is, you've got to look into why people are doing this and why they're doing it. And the reason they're doing it is because of that, because they don't trust what they're hearing. And that's why they're all out there. If they trust what they're hearing, they wouldn't be out there like they are now.
Yeah. I think it's another thing. It's another thing as well. Is that we because they are seeing some sort of activity. They are seeing London people in London buses running. They're seeing some sort of transport around London across the country, and trains come to London throughout the country. So they still think there's some sort of normality. But these are essential workers who are going into work, who are open for business because the government's permitted them to do so. So I think there has to be some semblance of, not so much business, but essential services. You know what I mean? So a lot of these people, NHS workers, a lot of people talk about NHS workers, but there's people who collect the bins, people do essential services for local authorities, and let's big up our London bus drivers and our train drivers.
Can I just stop everyone there?
Why don't we clear out the hotels?
Cool. It's 8 o'clock. Let's have the minute of the clapping.
Sorry.
Here's something, right? People who go out, sunbathe, have barbecues in parks and all that, and you're clapping the NHS right now, two-faced.
Exactly.
Two-faced. Sorry, that's what I said.
Well said. Well said. Well done, boys. Thank you very much for that. That's brilliant. Well done.
No. I was coming to. I don't know what my point was coming to here before. Yeah.
He was about to tell us you're on Tinder.
No, I think all I'm trying to say is that, you know, like we lost a lot of. I remember a bus driver who lost his life, and there's a lot of people who try to provide some services are losing lives.
Why don't they build? There's a lot of hotels here now being shut. Why don't they put these nurses and everything in hotels, and rather than make them travel, so they're right near their hospitals as well. Things like that, so they don't have to travel on the tube.
Just to correct you there, it's 10 drivers that have lost their lives.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. If I was a bus driver, I'd go on strike.
Exactly. This is my whole point, right? With the government, when they say that only essential workers should be working, right? The essential workers should be emergency services. Everybody else should be indoors. The only way that we're going to get past this is if everyone stays indoors. I mean, look, it's not rocket science, right? It's not rocket science. You look at Italy, you look at Spain, right? You look at was it Wahoo? Is it? Or I don't know how you say it. Wuhan, right? They've been indoors for 72 days. Why do we think we are a nation like super people that will be able to just get past this without not going out?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because we don't trust. We have no trust.
Claude, you can't listen.
We have I'm staying in. I'm doing my thing. You're
government, Claude.
You're staying in.
Bigger than that now.
A lot of people don't take it seriously enough because they don't believe what they're hearing. I'm sorry. It's true. I'm staying indoors.
It can't be this not trusting the government. Some people's mentalities as well is that they are those sort of people who think that life should still go on.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Kenny.
You know what I mean?
People aren't going out
because
of the government. They're going out
because as well. But also a lot of people don't believe it. There's a lot. You mean you've got these conspiracy things that's going on now? Or people putting conspiracies with 5Gs and all that. You know, there's a lot.
Look, Claude. One thing going on. Claude.
I don't. Personally, I take the safe option. I take the safe option.
And that's what we're all doing. Look, Claude. One thing is, Claude, right? This does sound like a film script. We've been watching films on like either through Sky or in the cinema, and this scenario we've watched this scenario where we thought, you know, like there's this virus going around, blah blah, and that and we watch it and say, oh, this is really harrowing, but it'll never happen. It's happening now.
Contagion, great.
It's here. It's here. It's here now. It is happening. You know, it's a pandemic across the world. People are dying. Some people who we know, not directly but indirectly, are having problems where they are losing family members to this virus. Because, all right, don't get me wrong, this virus is very potent for people who have underlying health problems. I fully agree and respect that. But most importantly, the fact of the matter is, it's still a deadly virus. It's something that,
this is what happens when you're stuck in for 2 weeks. You get your children coming on.
More.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, look, we've been going for
all I will say, and people have made a good point about this, right? How long has this thing been about? It's not just come on now. It's not just come now.
No.
But how come suddenly it's come now? We're all starting to hear about it now, and we haven't heard it before.
Because it comes in waves, though. It comes in waves. Remember, the first cases were in China, then it went in the Far East, and then what's happened is that it hit France first, and then it came through to Italy and everything. In England, I agree with you on one thing. We were very, very complacent with it because we knew about it, and we knew about it in December, January, February.
Look at
Cheltenham as well. So we had been very complacent about it, and I think the government, what they're doing is that Boris has just been voted as Prime Minister on a sort of, I can run the economy better than everyone else, and I can deliver Brexit better than everyone else. So he's just got in 3 months, and now he's out to shut things down. He saw that as a political hot potato, probably. That's why he didn't act quickly.
Cool.
We were in that crowd against Olympiacos. There were nearly 60,000 for that game. All sitting amongst ourselves,
Can I just say that I'm going to drop out now because obviously I've got me kids and that they're here. It's my first day off, and they're all having a drink and that, so I want to go and join them. I've done an hour now, so I just want to say that I'm going to go now. It's been a wicked chat. I've loved the conversation. Everyone in the comments, thank you so much. I mean, Zane, I can't thank you enough for what you've done tonight for Claude and that, and the Bansters with your contributions. Kenny Ken, great to have you on.
Yeah, actually, Zane, I am going to do that.
Yeah, we are.
Just put something up there. I will be doing something.
Yeah.
What we'll do, we'll have to organise that so we can do something for the all donations.
We'll organise that over the weekend, Claude. Definitely for a definite thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, we will.
I just want to say
at the end of the day,
everyone. I'm sorry I'm leaving a bit early, but you know it's my first day off. I've got a bank holiday now, so I want to enjoy tonight.
you're not working tonight?
No.
Friday,
I'm not working tonight, so it's bank holiday.
Saturday, there's no Saturday paper.
No. So yeah, so I want to go and enjoy my family while I can. You never know what's around the corner. So everyone, I just want to say,
thank you very much, mate.
You got your dad back, Tilly. Sorry for talking. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it, Till. Nice one. Enjoy it, mate. Nice one.
You're right.
Thanks, Till. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. See you later on.
No, Ron. And then there were three.
So I'll have to carry this on, right? So that's it. He's gone. So let's have a look at these comments. Who's this? Is that Arvzel on here?
Why am I not on here?
Where is it?
Why am I not on here? Is that Absal? Is that Arvzel?
I think it is that. Yes, it is Afsal because A is initials.
Listen, you can come on for 10-15 minutes if you give me your. Are you on Twitter or anything? Let me know, and I'll send you a link.
This is 100% Afsal because it's actually Afsal's another
is
one. It's
is that our Afsal?
100% it's Afsal because Afsal does me and him have had discussions about the implications of coronavirus on the football industry, and he does have other aspects that he can add to it.
He'd be on about half an hour before he gets his point across. I'm not having that.
Claude.
Big up Springs, up you well, brother.
No. I think what the situation is that I do fully understand that
I'm sure Springs will come on one night.
You know what it is, guys. Everyone in football, and in life are thinking about today. They can't think that far ahead. But one thing is that collectively, as football people, we want some sort of live football. Because we're not allowed to say publicly that this thing is affecting us and that we want to release, which football gives us. Like at the moment, I've got my season ticket. I could tell you right now, right? I would take not going to the games if I can watch the games, even though they're behind closed doors, and watch a match involving Arsenal. Just watch any live football. I'm that desperate. I watch even live sport. You know what I mean? I'm not that desperate to watch the rest of it at the moment, but I'm halfway there. You know what I mean? And I think that's what the whole situation is that, and why we have shows like this is that it's easy for people to speak on other people's behalf and say, look, how can you talk about football finance? How can you talk about football when people are dying? We're human beings. We do miss our day-to-day life. We do miss football. We do miss match day. You know what I mean? We miss, watching the game where there's a result in it, watching the tackles, having to argue about VAR. I mean, when was the last time we mentioned VAR, man? I mean, that was the biggest talking point about 3 weeks ago. Now, no one talks about it because, we're so consumed rightly so, about what's going on. It's because right now is that people, it is dangerous, this thing.
Oh, God, look, another super chat. Zane, you're going to skint yourself out, brother.
Yeah.
We're eating well tonight, aren't we, lads? Eh?
No, cool. Ginger. Jane wants to know: would you get Ginger Chris on? Chris Hull. Will you get Chris Hall on?
Sorry.
Would you get Chris Hall on?
Chris is not talking to me, mate. He's not talking to me. He's not very happy with me. So, and I'm not happy with him. So.
No, I think with Chris is that I think the Arsenal fan TV sort of bubble went out a long time for him. It went out about 2017 when Arsenal fan TV was kind of taken off.
He's a bit of a troll as well. You know what I mean?
He is, but
I don't mind him. I don't mind if he wants to come on there. He can talk.
Yeah.
He can. But if he starts,
with Chris.
Yeah,
but with Chris though, Chris knows how to push all of your buttons, and he does it. He does it. He knows how to get you to bite. He knows how to get DT to bite. And half the stuff he says he doesn't even mean, but he wants your reaction. You know what I mean? He wants you to lose your rag with him. He wants you to call him all sorts. You know what I mean? So get the upper hand.
Yeah, you're really selling it to get him on it, you can.
No, all I'm trying to say with Chris, the one thing about Chris is is that as a person, he cares about his friends. Another thing as well, he loves the football club. He goes home and away without fail. All right, he's got the means to do it, but I don't know an Arsenal. I know a lot of Arsenal fans that love the club, but Chris is up there with someone who loves Arsenal Football Club and loves football in itself. You know what I mean? Yeah, he does love other sports, but his devotion to the club can't be questioned. And he's a thoroughly nice guy as well.
Absal, by the way, I've sent it on the group chat. I sent the link on the group chat. If you want to join us for the last 10 or 15 minutes, are you all right for 10, 15 minutes, boys?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because I need to go in about 10 minutes, but we're all good.
No.
Alex Wilton. Hey, Alex Wilton's asked.
Do you think the Premier League will do a null and void season now?
What do you think, Diesel?
I think there's too much. I think there's too much money at stake. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
too much money.
Do you know what? Right,
I think it's going to be a lot of damage if they just done that, because there's going to be a lot of clubs like Leeds, West Brom. There'll be there'll be a lot of lawsuits going out. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen until they're going to give it as much time as possible.
How long can we? Yeah.
I actually think by the end of May, I think the difficult part might be over and we might get back to normality.
Diesel, what were you going to ask, mate? What were you going to say, Diesel, mate?
No, I was just going to say it's something I keep changing my mind on every single day, because I'm reading articles, and I know obviously I'm reading articles basically about schools saying after Easter, right, they're going to look at reopening the schools. Then I read another article saying, that's false, that's not true. But I'm one of them. I'm a massive believer in that old school saying of, there's no smoke without fire, right? And I'm hearing a lot of things where I think certain companies are going to reopen, albeit very small and minimal staff, but we all know it will start off that way, and then gradually So it wouldn't surprise me if they actually do finish it. I've got a feeling that they will. There will be adjustments for next season. What I wanted to say to you boys is, because we haven't really touched on this, right? As much as we talk about the Premier League, I'm really feeling sorry for the lower league clubs. Kenny, I'm the same as you. I'm obviously, an Arsenal fan, but I am a football fan.
Yeah, I think all Arsenal fans deep down are football fans. I think one of the things I do, when I look at some Arsenal fans, sometimes I get frustrated with them because I'm thinking, hang on here, this is the beautiful game. It's your game.
Yeah.
You can't just support Arsenal on the national side and think, it's just another football. And if you love the beautiful game, you're going to be in state of the game. I think what the Premiership are doing is, I know that there's an initiative like the way they combine to loan the total for £150 million towards the low league clubs. Because I know, when this first started, I know, Mark Palios of Tranmere, chairman, was asking for the Premier League to give them a sort of an unsecured loan for them in order to help out Tranmere. So I know that initiative is there. And one thing we forgot to touch on as well, I know the Premiership are looking at trying to, because I know, at the end of the season, they give out the prize money. A lot of clubs in the Premiership and low league clubs as well, because I know that they are skint. So the Premier League are looking to siphon some of that money off to them as well. Obviously, primarily to the Premier League clubs, but you know, that will trickle down to our mates and cousins and local club. I've always believed that Arsenal, Spurs, West Ham should be helping out the low league clubs in the London area.
In London, yeah,
in
I
my
agree
opinion,
with that. I agree with that.
And I think Man United and Liverpool and Man City should be helping clubs in the northwest, and then the big Midland clubs should be helping the low league clubs and do it on a regional basis. I don't see any reason why that can't happen. Because it can't happen because the simple thing is that, you know, we all need each other. You know, back before we had the foreign invasion, we were relying on low league clubs to supply players to, you know, the big clubs.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Totally. Zane, once again.
Yeah, did you hear we might buy Lingard? Is that true? Well, that would really finish me off, to be honest with you. That would finish me off. No, I don't want Lingard. Not in.
I think he should stay and fight for his place at Old Trafford. I don't want players who
I don't want any more. I didn't have their rejects.
Yeah, you're right.
I had enough of Mkhitaryan and that bloody Sylvester. You know, I'm not having him as well. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Listen,
no more. No more. Are they taking the piss here or what? Here? I'm sorry.
I said it the other day.
Now.
I said it the other day. If that is true and we sign him, I shall be following another club.
Well, the thing is, you won't follow another club. You'll still carry on. You won't like it. But you're not for Arsenal.
We moan, but we'll be still there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because we're monks.
It's not because we're monks. It's not because we're monks. Because simple reason is that, you know, you can't just turn the tap off. You know what I mean? Of the support of the club. You know what I mean?
I agree with Terry Furlough. As he said, Terry Furlough says we should all go on strike, and I agree with him. Can we have a player like this is Chadwick? You got to wind up here. Can we have a player like Emmanuel Bouye at right back?
Well, a lot of Arsenal fans.
You know what? I'm going to say about it.
I liked him. Up to
a point. Yeah. Up to a point.
But I think he was another one that got messed about by the coaching staff at our football club. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this again.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I think what it is with you know, the Arsene Wenger's reign. When we had the players, Arsene Wenger's kind of you know, like hands-off management works a treat because, you know, that's what the big clubs like Liverpool do in the 80s. But when you have, you know, like younger players who you're trying to bring on and you haven't got leaders, they're going to need more from their manager. And I think that's where my problem with Arsene was in the last 10 years of his reign, is that I just felt that if you are going to build Barcelona, then the players are going to need a lot more than go out and play. You know, they need opposition teams were beginning to work us out, and I don't think he was able to respond to that, especially the bigger clubs.
Someone's come on here, Amen Kelly. Who's controlling this outside? Someone's controlling this. Amen Kelly. Someone's controlling it from the outside.
Thanks very much. Thanks for that, mate.
Zane, legend.
Yeah. Kenny, did you see the documentary film? They should make one about Henry.
Oh, 100%. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that as well. It's a very good one. But, you know, I think the thing is that Thierry Henry's an iconic player. And he's got a lot of soul. He's won a lot. If you look, because the other day he finally won the Champions League when he went to Barcelona and they beat Man United. But he is an iconic player. But I think in terms of Thierry Henry, I think the story is still got a long way to go because he's trying to break into management. I know he's managing in Canada at the moment.
Is it Henry or is it Henry? We should call him Henry.
Henry. No, we shouldn't because Henry's actually a French name. Yeah, but no, I think the Thierry Henry story is still going. I think he's there's a management job out there that will suit him. Out there. I don't know if it's going to be Arsenal, but I think the Thierry Henry story has got a long way to go.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's definitely. He will definitely go down as an Arsenal legend. That's for sure.
Yeah, massively. Massively. And do you know what? And this is what I'm saying. You know, when we talk about players that have played here, I mean, you guys would know more so than me, being slightly older.
Chadwick, right? It was up right.
You know, this is why, Kenny. I know it might come across I'm very, very hard on these players of today because, like I keep saying, I've seen great players here, humble,
definitely
great players, and when I'm seeing the sort of players of today, the way they go on, the extortionate money that they're getting, and you know the way they behave, and just not playing like they're privileged to play for this club. It grates on me, Kenny. It grates on me. I can't lie, mate.
Yeah, but you know it is Diesel and Claude as well. You've got to realise, right, is that football's always had prima donnas. But what's happened is that Man United and Arsenal, they had iconic managers like Arsene Wenger at Arsenal and Sir Alex Ferguson. So what was happening now is that they were actually bigger than the club. Arsene Wenger was bigger than Arsenal. Sir Alex Ferguson was bigger than Man United. Despite what we all want to say, they were bigger than the club. So what was happening is that players couldn't get away with their ways under Arsene Wenger and under Sir Alex because they were iconic managers. If they annoyed or loved those two managers off, they wouldn't be involved in the big games involving Arsenal and Man United. So they couldn't do that. But player power's always been since the Premiership's coming. Oh yeah, all right, Dan. Yeah,
according to our friend Daniel,
he
was putting another nice donation in. Thank you very much, Daniel. He says Arsenal ruined this club.
Yeah, but in towards the end he did because the reason why towards the end he did is because the reason is that he didn't leave Unai Emery with a structure of play or and like I said a right mentality. And what's happened as well is that he left because he was here so long. The players were not going to play for Unai Emery the way they were paying for Arsene Wenger. The playing Donners suppressed that style of their character. Emery came. You're seeing their true characters. Player power got Unai Emery out. Fan power, I said, pushed him off the bridge. But it was always player power.
Kenny, he wasn't good enough. Kenny,
it doesn't matter whether he's good enough as well. What makes you think that the player's going to be around Arteta? People think Arteta's God, but it doesn't mean the players.
That's another subject, Kenny. That's another subject.
Yeah, all I'm trying to say is that a lot of iconic managers. If you're not an iconic manager, no matter how good you are, you've got to still prove yourself to the players rather than the players prove it to you. And that's what we're having now with football.
In this day and age,
the players run the football club. The players can break a manager, which means I'm not trying funny, right? If you're an asset like Mesut Ozil, you have more clout around a football club than you would than the manager, because simple reasons that you are an asset to the football club, and players know that, and so do their agents. You know what I mean?
Kenny, bang on. Right, listen, right. When we hear about the the old school players, right, the way they spoke about George Graham, right, and they all said, look, there was only one boss at Arsenal, and it wasn't any but, it was George, right? Whatever George said, it, or whatever he said, it went. Whether we agreed with it or not, he was the boss. He was the gaffer. That's what they called him, the gaffer. Right now, this day and age, when you're in about Mourinho and, for example, Mourinho and Paul Pogba having an argument, and Pogba saying, "Oh, go through my agent," right? That never went on back in the day. Get a message to the player, you have to go through the agent.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Diesel. That's the thing, Diesel. What you've just said now is that Mourinho, when he was at Porto, Internazionale at Chelsea the first time, he was the iconic manager. He's now coming into a new era that at Real Madrid, he had to prove himself to the players, and that's why, even though there was success, it wasn't the success we got. The second time at Chelsea, he didn't have like the Lampards and Petr Cechs and the Ferraras and the Carvalhos. People like the Eden Hazards and the younger player and the Williams and so on. Mourinho had proved himself with them, and that's why it didn't work out, and that's why it's not work out. Player power now is so big that even a great manager, Mourinho, is going to struggle. Guardiola's the only one who basically got a brick and he's smashing through that, but he's the only one.
Yeah.
Zane, I can answer that question for Kenny. I mean, Kenny can answer it as well, but we didn't
No,
sign it. I don't think we got a work permit or something. Something happened there. I don't know what happened. Imagine if we had, we could have signed also Ibrahimovic, Zlatan. We could have signed him as well, but Wenger wanted to put him through a trial. Wenger. Anyway, let's move on. Kenny, I want to go. I want to go on to. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I want to go on to Phil Thompson's comments before we end tonight. Going on.
What's he done there?
No, he's saying that the midfield at Arsenal, he doesn't understand why Aubameyang is still at the football club with the midfield he's got the service that he's got at Arsenal. He quoted about Xhaka and Guendouzi are not exactly the players that are going to give you the. And he is shocked that Aubameyang has got so many goals this year. He said, really, he should be even more if he had a proper midfield. Claude. It's like the old Ian Wright situation.
Claude, you got a super chat.
Sorry again. That shows how great Ronaldo. He's always respected the manager, players like Ozil and Pogba. Yeah, and another thing I'll say about Ronaldo, Zane, before you go, before I get back to Chadwick on his one, is he actually praised Ozil. He didn't want Ozil to leave. So maybe you should tell that to Kenny. He did not want Ozil to leave. But then,
well, I think we'll say,
it's about the players you've got around you. If you've got donkeys around you, you're going to perform like a donkey. Anyway, that's all.
Yeah, but Dave, Ozil was it was either Ozil or it was either Ozil or another player. But the fact of the matter is that Gareth Bale
was it Di Maria?
Di Maria.
Yeah,
so Gareth Bale was bought from Tottenham for 86 million. They had someone had to leave.
Question before I go into Phil Thompson's comments from Chadwick. Worst away grounds you've all ever been to? I'll tell you my one. I'll tell you my one, and it goes back in the 80s. It's Wimbledon, Plough Lane. One toilet.
Same here. I'll stand by that.
Absolute shithole. Yeah. And I'll tell you another one. It's Portsmouth. Yeah. Another one where they've got right next to a toilet.
No, another the worst one I've been to.
And another one is Bournemouth this year. Where I've had to queue up 40 minutes for a fucking cup of coffee. Now, that's another one.
It's good for you to get the grades early, mate. Good for you to get the grades early, mate. There's 3 grand.
What about you, you boys? I'm that Wimbledon one is
Plough Lane's 100% that one.
Awful, wasn't it?
What was yours, Kenny?
Yeah,
what about you, people?
No, you know the old Wimbledon ground, Plough Lane in SW19.
Oh yeah.
It was worse than a non-league ground. It was terrible. It was terrible. The place was falling apart.
Yeah,
There was one toilet in the corner on the terrace. There was one corner. And I'll tell you another ground was a piss hole in it. One fucking toilet.
Yeah, that's
one
toilet.
I'll tell you another ground that was a piss hole in there was Stamford Bridge. It was about a mile away from the pitch. That was a horrible. Right, when the away end, when we used to be in the away end.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was another.
I think what's happening? Ken Bates and Abramovich gave Stamford Bridge a lick of paint and respectability.
Do you know what? I'm loving Zane even more. See, Zane, don't be fooled.
Zane's come on with another one here. Ozil is a very lazy pay, never tracks back. Even Ty is better faster than him. Well, no, hold on a minute. No, it's not late. He's got it up there, but he hasn't got the players to read his information.
Yeah, but he's at the wrong club. He's at the wrong club then. He's at the wrong
read.
Yeah, hear you, but the fact of the matter is he's at the wrong club because, Dave, the question that Phil Thompson said about Aubameyang, I've said it on. I
If
said
you
it on
had
here.
to play with El Neni, Guendouzi, Granit Xhaka, and all them players, you'd be shit. Everyone would be shit.
Yeah,
They're
all
all the
right.
same. Crap players. Crap players.
Claude, you asked me a diesel question
Especially
about
old Guendouzi, old Dougal.
Phil Thompson. Claude, you asked the question about what's the name of what Phil Thompson said about Aubameyang. Well, I've said it here before. I'm not going to say it. Aubameyang, if he wants the best for his football career, probably should leave Arsenal because he's not going to win anything. We're a club in transition. We're probably about 3 or 4 years for just probably getting for challenges for the title. The top 4 is probably about 2 years away. And I just generally believe that in terms of like Aubameyang, he's 30 years old. He's got probably 2 or 3 years of his prime years. Should they be wasted at Arsenal?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think with Aubameyang, it's another Ian Wright situation. I think. Yeah, where you've got no real service, but you're. I just don't feel.
What was it he said, Claude? Phil Thompson. What was it he said again?
He said that the midfield we got is crap, and it's true. We ain't got no midfield.
Oh, that is right.
And
Yeah, that's
I
true.
also believe these players like Xhaka, Guendouzi, all this players behind, they're affecting us big time. We need a midfield. We need a midfield and a defence.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that we keep on spending money on players on anything like the midfield. Whenever a top forward's available, we go for forwards.
The thing to do is ease Ozil. All right, Ozil's had enough. Let him further his career elsewhere. But then bring in Pepe. Put Pepe there in that position. Rather than White.
Zay.
Alex,
you know what I'm saying?
I do. Sorry, Claude. Alex, I do remember John Hawley. So does Claude.
Yeah, you said it the other day, didn't you?
That?
Alex asked if I remember John Hawley. It's in the comments, in the live comments. He mentioned. No, check the live comments. But you remember John Hawley scored in the North London derby when we lost 3-1 at home to Spurs in '82.
Read Zane's comment first, Claude. Super chat. Read Zane's super chat, and then we'll go to our final.
Thanks, Jane. Claude, a World Cup player. He's in World Cup in a pub team. He's not World. Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm gonna have to leave you now.
Okay,
guys,
I'm going to joining us, man.
Thank you very
much. John Hall.
All right, so guys, thank you very much for having me on. I hope we had a great show. We spoke about football finances, but my message to all the guests and to everyone: yes, we're thinking about today, but be prepared for tomorrow when it comes tomorrow in terms of like the implications for the beautiful game, because we're going to get a bit of a short, sharp shock. Yeah, and I'm seeing it coming. So thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Please don't go off with that negative attitude, right?
Yeah. Claude, say something funny, Ken, before you go. Say something funny.
Please don't go off with that.
The funniest thing I could say. Well, I don't really know if it's funny or not, but we're going to get in the top. We're going to get in the top 4 this season.
Come on, Kenny. Positivity. I love it.
I'll see you later, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Ken. All the best, bro. All the
Cheers,
best.
Kenny, and nice weekend, mate. And speak to you soon. Do you remember John Hawley? Yes, I do. How can you forget him? We missed Ty too. Molina, if I could find Ty, I've been phoning him. He's not answering the phone. I don't know what's happened to him. Let's see if there's anyone else. Like what we've got coming up at the weekend, everyone. We've got Saturday, I think we've got the conspiracy. No, Blind Gooner's coming with another late one.
Cheers,
there.
Daniel.
Let's have Griezmann as his replacement. Yeah, but we need a midfield. We need a midfield to supply Daniel. But thanks for that comment, Daniel. Sorry I haven't got back to you, Daniel. It's just that I've been in a lot of sleeping patterns this week. I've been up and down, sleep, computer, and I'll phone you up soon. Anyway, don't Don't get me. I haven't forgotten you. We've got this weekend coming up. We've got Gooner Eagle Eye on Sunday. Furlough. Big up Chick. He's coming on Sunday. And then we've got the mental health program on Sunday night with our friend Alex. So that should be good. Saturday there's the conspiracy. That's with you and Diesel and Lev. Is that right on Saturday?
Yeah.
Conspiracy, so this conspiracy show, and
watch if you did it
on Friday. Don't forget, I won't be here because I'll be on the same old Gooner doing the quiz. So putting my wits against that judge who cheats. By the way, so I'm going to go up against the judge and Harry Simu. They're tough opposition, but I'm sure I can give them a good run for their money. So watch me on the same old Arsenal tomorrow.
When is that? Is that tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah, same old Arsenal tomorrow. And I wish everyone a great weekend. Stay indoors, be good, stay safe. Love you all. And it's time to go.
Time to go.